Welcome back everyone to RF Coins. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and mysterious coins in American history, the 1968 Lincoln penny. This small copper coin, born in an era of change and transition, has captured the attention of collectors all around the world. Some rare versions of this penny have sold for jaw-dropping amounts. Yes, we're talking about a coin that could be worth nearly $898,957 today. So, get ready, my friends. Sit back, because in this video we are going to explore everything about the 1968 Lincoln penny, its fascinating history, its hidden varieties, why some are worth a fortune, and how you can check if the one in your collection might make you rich. This is RF Coins, and today's story is one you'll remember forever. Let's go back to the year 1968. America was in the middle of major change. The Vietnam War was ongoing, Martin Luther King Jr. had just been assassinated, and Robert Kennedy's campaign was shaking the nation. Amid all that, the U.S. Mint continued to produce billions of Lincoln pennies, keeping Abraham Lincoln's portrait alive on one of the most iconic coins in American history. The penny design we all recognize today, with Lincoln facing right, the word liberty to his left, and the date 1968 just below, is more than just a coin. It's a symbol of American endurance, progress, and everyday life. Now, here's where things get fascinating. The 1968 Lincoln penny was minted in three main locations, Philadelphia and San Francisco. Let's talk about composition first. The 1968 penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams. That classic copper shine is part of what gives older pennies their beautiful color and collectible charm. But what truly makes the 1968 penny stand out is not its metal, it's the unique errors and varieties that exist. One of the most valuable versions is the 1968 double die obverse proof penny. This is a coin struck in San Francisco with the S mint mark, and during the minting process, the die, which stamps the design, struck the coin twice slightly off-center. This created a visible doubling in the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and sometimes in the date, 1968. Under magnification, these doubled letters are clear and stunning, and collectors are willing to pay unbelievable amounts for one in pristine proof condition. In fact, one of these rare 1968 double die proof pennies sold for nearly $25,000 in a professional auction, and some collectors estimate that in today's booming market, with copper coin interest at an all-time high, a perfect coin could fetch upwards of $50,000 or more. But that's not all. There are also 1968 Lincoln pennies with unique mint errors like off-center strikes, broad strikes, and die cracks that can fetch anywhere from a few hundred to several $1,000s depending on the condition. A perfectly preserved, uncirculated 1968 penny in MS 67 red condition has sold for as high as $7,500. Imagine finding that in your coin jar or old family collection, and here's where it gets even crazier. There are extremely rare transitional error coins from the 1968 era that were struck on leftover planchets from previous years, such as silver or wrong metal blanks. A 1968 penny struck on a dime planchet or steel planchet is considered a one-of-a-kind rarity. Some collectors believe examples like these could easily reach $100,000 to $900,000 at auction today, depending on authenticity, grade, and provenance. That's where that massive number, $898,957, comes from. That's the kind of high-end price a perfect, unique, mint error or double die 1968 penny could command in today's competitive collector's market. Now, let's talk about grading, because this is key to understanding the value of your coin. Grading determines how perfect your penny is. The highest quality coins are called mint state and graded on a scale from 60 to 70. If you have a 1968 penny that's bright red, with no wear, strong luster, and full details, it could grade MS 66, MS 67, or even MS 68, and that means serious money. Even common 1968 pennies in brilliant red mint state can bring $30 to $100 each, depending on the mint mark and grade. But if your coin is an error or proof with doubling, that's when the price skyrockets into the thousands or more. Collectors love the 1968 proof Lincoln penny because of its mirror-like finish and the level of craftsmanship from the San Francisco Mint. Proof coins were specially struck for collectors, not for circulation, with polished dies and planchets. If you ever find one of these in perfect condition, look closely for signs of doubling, missing mint marks, or odd details. These are the clues that can mean your coin isn't just old, it's extremely valuable. Now let's discuss how the market for Lincoln pennies has changed. Over the last decade, coin collecting has exploded in popularity, especially online. Social media platforms, YouTube channels like RF Coins, and major auction houses have created a new wave of collectors searching for treasure. The demand for high-grade and rare Lincoln pennies has pushed prices to record highs. Coins that once sold for $5,000 a few years ago are now commanding 10 times that. Copper coins have become especially desirable as the U.S. Mint continues producing modern zinc pennies with less quality and luster. So, how can you tell if your 1968 Lincoln penny is valuable? First, look at the mint mark. Check if it's a D, S, or no mark at all. Then, under a magnifying glass, inspect the lettering and date for any doubling or unusual features. Look for off-center designs, cracks, or anything that looks different. Next, pay attention to color. Bright red coins usually fetch more than brown ones. Finally, get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC if you think it's something special. A certified grade can multiply your coin's value instantly, and let's not forget the historical significance of this penny. The Lincoln design, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, remains the longest-running coin design in U.S. history. The reverse of the 1968 penny still carried the image of the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959, replacing the earlier wheat ears design. That means your 1968 penny not only represents a time of change in American society but also a key moment in U.S. coin design. So when you hold a 1968 Lincoln penny, you're not just holding a piece of metal, you're holding a story. A story of a nation, a minting era, and perhaps, a hidden fortune waiting to be discovered. Imagine this: you open an old coin jar from your grandparents, and inside lies a shiny 1968 S-proof penny. You take a closer look and realize the letters look doubled, the shine is mirror bright, and the coin looks flawless. You send it in for grading, and months later, you receive the news: it's a verified double die proof, one of only a handful known in existence. Its auction estimate? Over $800,000. That's not a dream, that's the real potential of rare coins like the 1968 Lincoln penny. So the next time you come across a penny from the late 1960s, don't just toss it aside. Take a good look. Examine every detail. Because one tiny copper coin could hold a story worth nearly $1 million. Thank you for watching RF Coins, where we explore the magic and mystery of U.S. coins and uncover the hidden treasures that could be sitting in your pocket right now. If you enjoyed this video and want more in-depth looks at valuable U.S. coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to RF Coins, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a new episode. Remember, collectors, always check your change, because treasure can appear in the smallest places. Until next time, this is RF Coins, wishing you happy hunting, good luck, and maybe, your next coin could be worth nearly $898,957. Today. Yes, you heard that right. Some 1980 Lincoln pennies are selling for thousands, and in rare cases, close to $898,956 in top condition with unique mint errors and rare varieties. So sit back, relax, and let's dive deep into the amazing history, rarity, and current market value of the 1980 Lincoln penny. One of the most exciting coins in U.S. history that could still be hiding in your collection, your old coin jars, or even in your change right now. The story of the 1980 Lincoln penny begins over a century ago, when the design itself first came to life in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. The legendary sculptor Victor David Brenner created this timeless design, featuring the right-facing portrait of the 16th President of the United States and the word liberty to his left. On the reverse, the coin originally displayed two wheat ears, which later changed to the famous Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. By the time we reach 1980, the Lincoln penny had already seen over 7 decades of history, from wars and recessions to the space age and beyond. The 1980 penny was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked D; and San Francisco, marked S. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced circulation coins, while San Francisco struck proof coins for collectors. Now here's where things get fascinating. The 1980 Lincoln penny was one of the last years where the U.S. Mint used 95% copper and 5% zinc in the composition of the coin. This means the 1980 penny still holds real metal value, as copper prices have gone up significantly in recent decades. Each copper penny actually contains nearly 2 cents worth of metal value alone, but that's just the beginning of its story. When it comes to collectible value, not all 1980 pennies are created equal. Most are worth just 1 cent, but some are worth hundreds, thousands, and even hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on their mint errors, condition, and rarity. So, what makes a 1980 penny worth nearly $898,956? Let's explore the reasons that make some of these coins true treasures. First, mint errors play a huge role. Error coins are the rock stars of the numismatic world because they are rare and often completely unique. Some 1980 pennies were struck off-center, double die errors, broad struck, or struck on the wrong metal planchets. For example, there are known 1980 pennies struck on dime planchets. These are smaller and thinner than normal and can sell for thousands of dollars. Then, there are double die obverse varieties, where the date or lettering, like Liberty or In God We Trust, shows a doubled image under magnification. These double die errors are extremely collectible, and coin grading companies like PCGS and NGC have confirmed that some 1980 pennies with such errors can command prices exceeding $10,000, and in pristine mint state red condition, MS 67 RD or higher, the value skyrockets even more. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Mint 1980 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Over 7.4 billion were minted, but only a small percentage remain in top uncirculated red condition. A perfectly preserved coin graded MS 67 RD or better can easily sell for several $1,000s today, while the finest examples can reach astronomical prices in auctions. The 1980 D Lincoln penny from the Denver Mint is also worth attention. With over 5 billion minted, it's common in circulation, but rare in top grade. A flawless MS 68 RD Denver penny is a collector's dream, with auction records showing prices well above $3,000 to $5,000, and some with spectacular errors fetching tens of thousands. And let's not forget the 1980 S-proof pennies, struck specially for collectors with mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. These coins were never meant for circulation and were made with great precision. A perfect PR70 DCAM, deep cameo, proof 1980 S penny has been known to sell for hundreds or even thousands, depending on the demand and certification. But what about that jaw-dropping value, $898,956? How can a penny reach that number? It happens when a coin combines extreme rarity, a dramatic mint error, and perfect condition. For example, a 1980 Lincoln penny struck on a foreign planchet, or with a double-struck error in full red gem mint state, can reach extraordinary prices at auctions like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. Some collectors are willing to pay nearly $1 million for a unique error coin, especially if it's authenticated and graded by top companies like PCGS or NGC. When we look at the current market for 1980 Lincoln pennies, the demand is stronger than ever. Collectors are focusing on 1970s and 1980s copper pennies because they mark the end of an era, before the U.S. Mint switched to the cheaper copper-plated zinc composition in 1982. The solid copper pennies from 1980 have become small pieces of American history, representing the craftsmanship and value of a time when a penny still had real metal worth. If you're searching through your coins, here's what you should look for to identify a potentially valuable 1980 penny. Check for doubling on the letters of Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the date. Inspect for off-center strikes or unusual thickness. Look for wrong planchet strikes, coins that seem smaller or lighter than normal. Examine the overall condition. Bright red, shiny coins with no scratches or wear are always more valuable. get your best find certified by professional grading companies like PCGS, NGC, or Annex. This can multiply their value many times over. Now, let's talk about the realistic market prices today. Common circulated 1980 pennies are worth 1 cent, but uncirculated examples can bring between 50 cents to $5. Coins graded MS65 red are worth around $20 to $40, while MS67 red examples can fetch hundreds or even thousands. Proof coins in PR69 or PR70 deep cameo are selling for $100 to $500, depending on demand. But those rare error coins or double die varieties can easily push the value into the tens of thousands, and a unique specimen could indeed reach that incredible $898,956 mark in a competitive auction. So, if you have a jar of old pennies sitting around, it's time to grab a magnifying glass and start checking them. You never know what hidden gem might be sitting right under your nose, a penny that could change your life. Remember, rare coins often look ordinary to the untrained eye. The smallest detail, a little doubling on the letters, a minting flaw, or a perfect strike could turn an average penny into a treasure worth more than gold. And here's a fascinating fact: the copper 1980 Lincoln penny also holds historical significance because it was minted just before major economic changes in the early 1980s. Inflation, rising metal prices, and the growing cost of minting coins all led to the U.S. Mint's decision to switch compositions in 1982. That means 1980 pennies represent the end of America's true copper era, making them even more desirable for collectors today. If you're new to coin collecting, the 1980 Lincoln penny is a fantastic place to start. It's affordable, widely available, and yet has rare gems hidden among the billions produced. And for experienced collectors, finding that perfect, uncirculated, full red example with no marks is a challenge worth taking on. As of today's market, with copper prices climbing and coin collecting communities growing across online platforms and auction houses, the interest in vintage Lincoln cents from the 1970s and 1980s continues to rise. Some dealers are paying premium prices for bulk unsearched rolls of 1980 pennies, hoping to find rare mint errors or high-grade examples that could bring thousands. So don't underestimate that little coin in your hand. It could be your next big discovery. Here at RF Coins, we love bringing you the most exciting stories about US coins, from pennies to silver dollars, from common finds to million-dollar rarities. Every coin tells a story, and the 1980 Lincoln penny tells a story of transition, rarity, and hidden fortune. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's most collectible pennies, make sure to like this video, subscribe to RF Coins, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our updates about rare US coins worth a lot of money. Share this video with your friends and family, they might have a rare penny hiding in their pocket too. Remember, at RF Coins, we don't just collect coins, we discover history, one coin at a time. Keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, your next 1980 Lincoln penny might just be worth $898,956 or more. Thanks for watching RF Coins, where every coin has a story and every collector has a dream. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we reveal more hidden treasures from the world of US coins. Until then, happy. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins from the modern era of US history, the 1981 Lincoln penny. Yes, that small copper coin sitting quietly in your collection, in a drawer, or maybe even in your wallet, could be worth a fortune. So, grab your magnifying glass and stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why the 1981 Liberty Lincoln penny is one of the most talked about coins in the current collector market, and how it can fetch prices close to $898,955 under the right conditions. Let's get started with the story behind this remarkable coin. The 1981 Lincoln penny is part of the famous Lincoln cent series that began in 1909, designed by Victor David Brenner to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse, or the front of the coin, proudly displays Lincoln's bust facing right, with the word Liberty to the left and the year 1981 on the right side, just below the mint mark if one is present. Above Lincoln's head, the motto, "In God We Trust," stands bold and true, a phrase that has stood the test of time, just like the coin itself. Now, what makes the 1981 penny special is that it represents the end of an era. This was the final full year the U.S. Mint produced Lincoln pennies made primarily of copper. From 1909 to 1982, most Lincoln cents were struck from an alloy of 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, after 1982, due to the rising cost of copper, the mint switched to a cheaper zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper. That means your 1981 Lincoln penny is one of the last true copper pennies ever made, and that alone gives it a special place in the hearts of coin collectors worldwide. Let's talk about the mint locations. The 1981 Lincoln penny was minted at 3 major U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins without a mint mark were made in Philadelphia, those with a small d were minted in Denver, and proof coins with an S were struck in San Francisco. Each version carries its own level of rarity and value potential, depending on condition, strike quality, and whether any minting errors occurred. Now let's explore why this coin has become a collector's dream in today's market. In average circulated condition, most 1981 pennies are worth just a cent or two over face value, mainly because millions were made, over 12 billion coins in. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about modern pennies in the world of coin collecting, the 1984 Lincoln penny. You may think it's just another copper-colored coin, but this little piece of American history could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its condition and special errors. So get ready, because by the end of this video, you might rush to check your coin collection or piggy bank. Who knows, you could be sitting on a fortune without realizing it. Let's begin with a bit of fascinating history. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909, honoring one of the greatest presidents in American history, Abraham Lincoln. Over the decades, this coin has gone through small but meaningful changes, and each variation tells a unique story about America's history and economy. By the time we reached 1984, the U.S. Mint was already producing pennies with a zinc core coated with copper, a change that began in 1982 to cut down on production costs. This means that your 1984 penny is made up of about 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, weighing roughly 2.5 grams, quite different from the older all-copper coins that weighed 3.11 grams. Now, what makes the 1984 penny stand out among millions of ordinary coins? The D mint mark, located just below the date, tells us this coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the busiest and most productive mints in the United States. In 1984, the Denver Mint produced over 5.5 billion pennies, meaning this coin is not exactly rare in mintage numbers, but here's where things get interesting. The value of a coin isn't just about how many were made, it's about how they were made, how well they survived, and whether they contain any unique errors or varieties that make them stand out from the rest. One of the most famous varieties connected to 1984 pennies is the 1984 double die obverse, a version where Lincoln's ear appears double due to a minting error during the die creation process. This doubling is clear, strong, and can be seen without magnification, making it one of the most exciting modern penny errors ever found. Now, while this particular error is most commonly associated with the Philadelphia Mint, with no mint mark, collectors have also found 1984 pennies with striking and fascinating anomalies such as off-center strikes, die cracks, plating bubbles, and even misaligned dies. Each of these can dramatically increase the value of your penny, sometimes transforming a 1-cent coin into a collectible worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Let's talk value, the part everyone loves most. In circulated condition, a regular 1984 Lincoln penny is typically worth 1 to 3 cents, simply because of its age and material composition. But when we move into higher grades, such as uncirculated or mint state examples, the value begins to climb. A mint state 65, MS65, penny with full original red luster, no scratches, and strong details can easily fetch $5 to $15 on the collector market. But here's where things get jaw-dropping. In mint state 67 or higher, prices can skyrocket. In recent auctions, pristine 1984 Lincoln cents have sold for over $800, and in exceptional cases, even close to $1,000. That's right, a penny worth 1,000 times its face value, now imagine pairing that with a rare error, such as a double die or off-center strike. Depending on the severity and eye appeal, collectors have paid upwards of $5,000 to $10,000 for the most stunning examples. Just picture that, a coin most people would overlook or spend without thinking could actually pay your rent or even buy you a new laptop or camera. That's why coin collecting is so thrilling, you never know what you might find. Let's look a little deeper into the market trends. Over the last few years, demand for high-quality Lincoln Memorial pennies, especially from the 1980s, has risen steadily. Collectors have realized that finding coins in perfect condition is becoming more difficult as time passes. The majority of these pennies were used in everyday circulation, meaning they've been scratched, dinged, and worn down over decades. Finding one in perfect red condition, preserved from the moment it left the mint, is now a rare event. This scarcity drives the value even higher. Now, you may have seen figures online claiming a current market value of around $898.954 for certain rare 1984 D Lincoln pennies. This number isn't random, it's based on exceptional examples sold in auctions or private collections, often featuring unique die errors or museum-grade preservation. These ultra-rare coins are the holy grails of penny collecting, and they remind us why the world of numismatics is so fascinating. Every coin tells a story, and the 1984 D Lincoln penny tells a story of transition, craftsmanship, and the hidden potential in even the smallest piece of change. Let's also take a moment to appreciate the artistry of this coin. The obverse, or front, features Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, who first created this portrait in 1909. His initials, VDB, can be found under Lincoln's shoulder on some coins, marking a timeless connection to the man who immortalized Lincoln in metal. The reverse side, showing the Lincoln Memorial, symbolizes freedom, equality, and perseverance, values that define both the man and the nation. It's truly a coin of beauty and symbolism, not just monetary worth. So, what should you do if you have a 1984 D penny at home? First, grab a magnifying glass and check for doubling around Lincoln's ear, eye, or lettering. Look for signs of mint errors like cracks, missing plating, or unusual edges. Then, examine the coin's surface. Is it shiny red with no marks? If so, you might have something special. Store it carefully in a protective coin holder and consider having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can multiply the value of your coin instantly, giving you proof of its condition and authenticity. And today, we're diving deep into one of the most exciting and surprising stories in the world of U.S. coins, the 1993 D Lincoln penny, a small coin that could be worth up to $898,956 depending on its rarity, condition, and special errors. Yes, you heard that right, this little 1-cent coin from 1993 with the Denver Mint mark could be worth nearly $1 million today. So, sit back, relax, and let's explore the incredible history, the collector secrets, and the jaw-dropping market value of the Liberty 1993 D Lincoln penny. Now, let's begin with a little history. The 1993 D Lincoln penny belongs to one of the most iconic coin series in U.S. history, the Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, featuring the beloved portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, and over the decades, it became a true symbol of American strength, freedom, and hard work. The 1993 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small D mint mark just below the date. Millions were produced, yet not all of them were created equal, and that's exactly where the magic happens for collectors. You see, while billions of ordinary Lincoln pennies exist, a small number of 1993 D Lincoln cents have unique characteristics that make them incredibly valuable. These rare varieties and mint errors are what transform a 1-cent coin into something worth thousands, or even hundreds of thousands, of dollars. Some of these rare coins escape the mint with double die errors, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet flaws, and they've become the treasures of serious coin collectors and investors around the world. A pristine, uncirculated 1993 D penny with a full red luster, graded MS-68 by PCGS or NGC, has been reported to sell for enormous amounts, even close to $898,956 in private auctions and high-end collector sales. That's an unbelievable return for a coin that once cost just 1 cent, but let's talk about what makes this coin so special in detail. The composition of the 1993 D penny is mostly zinc with a thin copper coating, 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, a change made in 1982 when the U.S. Mint switched from the earlier bronze composition due to rising copper prices. Because of this zinc core, many modern Lincoln pennies are prone to corrosion, spotting, or blistering, which makes well-preserved examples extremely hard to find. A 1993 D penny in flawless mint condition with no scratches, toning, or spots, and full original mint luster is rare, and collectors are willing to pay a fortune for one that looks like it just came off the press. Now, the real key to understanding the current market value of the 1993 D Lincoln penny is the grading system. The grade of a coin, which measures its condition from poor, P1, all the way up to mint state, MS-70, plays a massive role in determining its value. For example, a circulated 1993 D penny you find in pocket change might only be worth a few cents or maybe a few dollars if it's clean and shiny. But if your coin has never been used, shows no wear, and has that deep red copper glow, it can easily fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars. The highest auction records for this coin show prices that go beyond $10,000, $50,000, and even near $900,000 for the most exceptional specimens, especially those with proof-like surfaces or rare die errors. Speaking of errors, let's highlight a few that could make your 1993 D penny an ultra-rare collector's dream. Some examples include double-die obverse coins where Lincoln's portrait or the inscriptions like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" appear doubled under magnification. Others may have off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing or shifted, creating a visually unique coin that can sell for thousands. Then there are broad strike errors, clipped planchets, and even wrong planchet strikes where a penny was accidentally struck on a dime planchet, and those are worth absolute fortunes. Always check both sides of your coin carefully under a magnifying glass or microscope, because sometimes the smallest detail could turn a 1-cent coin into a life-changing discovery. As of today, the current coin market is extremely strong for rare Lincoln cents, especially those from the late 20th century that are difficult to find in perfect condition. The demand for these coins continues to grow, not just in the United States but globally. Collectors from Europe, Asia, and the Middle East are increasingly interested in rare American cents, particularly those with mint errors or high grades certified by professional grading companies like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. These institutions guarantee authenticity and grade, and that's what gives investors the confidence to pay huge sums for coins like the 1993 D penny. Now, let's talk about why this coin's value can reach over $898,956. It's not just about rarity, it's about perfection. Coins that receive a perfect grade like MS-69 or MS-70 red, which indicates a brilliant copper color and zero visible marks even under magnification, are virtually flawless. Out of the millions of 1993 D pennies minted, only a tiny handful have survived in that pristine condition. Combine that with a rare minting error or unique die feature, and you have a one-of-a-kind coin that serious collectors will pay almost anything to own. When these pieces hit auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Great Collections, bidding wars often break out, driving the price to incredible heights. It's also fascinating to note that many valuable coins like this are discovered by ordinary people. Everyday collectors, metal detectorists, or even someone sorting through jars of change have stumbled upon these gems. That's part of the thrill of coin collecting. The treasure might be sitting right in your home, waiting to be discovered. So, if you have any 1993 D Lincoln pennies lying around, it's time to pull them out and examine them closely. Look at the condition, check for errors, and if it looks unusual or exceptionally shiny, consider sending it for grading. It could be your ticket to an incredible payday. Another factor that keeps these coins valuable is sentimental and historical importance. The Lincoln penny is not just a piece of metal, it's a piece of American history. Every penny carries the legacy of Abraham Lincoln and more than a century of U.S. coinage. Collectors value not only the rarity but also the symbolism behind the coin. The 1993 D penny connects us to the enduring image of Lincoln, to the craftsmanship of the Denver Mint, and to the proud tradition of U.S. currency that has evolved since 1909. The 1993 D Lincoln penny might look ordinary, but it's truly extraordinary. From its rich history to its stunning potential value, this coin is a reminder that treasures can still be found in the simplest of places, in your pocket, your wallet, or your old coin jar. So don't overlook those pennies, because one of them could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Always remember to check the mint mark, the year, and the condition. You never know, your next penny could be the one that changes your life. And that wraps up our deep dive into the 1993 D Lincoln penny, one of the most fascinating coins in modern American history, with a market value that can reach an unbelievable $898,956. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to RF Coins, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another exciting episode about US coins, rare errors, and hidden treasures. Share this video with your friends and family. You never know who might be sitting on a valuable coin without realizing it. Thank you so much for watching RF Coins, where we turn pocket change into treasure. Keep collecting, keep exploring, and remember, every coin tells a story, and the next one could be yours. I prefer this response. ChatGPT response: D Lincoln penny worth nearly $900,000. Rare penny hidden in your pocket change. RF Coins, welcome back, everyone, to RF Coins, the home of America's most fascinating and valuable coin stories. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most incredible modern penny discoveries ever, the 1993 D Lincoln penny, Today, we're diving deep into one of the most surprising and fascinating coins in U.S. history, the Liberty 2001 Lincoln penny. You might think a 2001 penny isn't old enough to be valuable, but let me tell you, some of these small copper coins are selling for jaw-dropping prices, with certain rare varieties worth up to $898,956 in today's coin market. So grab your coin jar, check your pocket change, and let's uncover the hidden secrets behind the 2001 Lincoln penny, its history, design, errors, varieties, and current market value that has collectors across America buzzing with excitement. Let's start with the story behind this incredible coin. The Lincoln penny, officially known as the Lincoln cent, was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, symbolizing freedom, leadership, and American pride. The obverse side of the coin features the famous bust of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse design in 2001 still displayed the Lincoln Memorial, created by Frank Gasparo. That image remained on the penny from 1959 until 2008, making the 2001 issue one of the last decades of the classic memorial reverse. Now, you might ask, what makes the 2001 Lincoln penny special? Why are collectors hunting for it like treasure? The answer lies in varieties, mint errors, and condition. The 2001 penny was struck at three main U.S. mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark for proofs. But here's where it gets fascinating. During the minting process, thousands of these pennies came out with minting errors, double dies, and planchet mistakes that have turned an ordinary 1-cent coin into a collector's dream. One of the most valuable types of 2001 pennies is the 2001 double die obverse, where you can see doubling in the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and even in the date itself. These varieties are extremely rare and can fetch hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on condition. But the holy grail among them is the 2001 Lincoln penny with major die breaks, off-center strikes, or transitional metal errors. These are the coins that have recently sold for insane amounts, some reportedly reaching prices close to $898,956 at high-grade auctions due to their extreme rarity and flawless preservation in mint state, MS 68 or higher. Imagine finding one of these pennies sitting in your change cup right now, a coin that cost 1 cent to make but is now worth enough to buy a luxury car, or even a house. That's why coin enthusiasts across the country are checking every penny they come across, especially those from 2001. Now, let's talk about the design and materials. The 2001 penny is part of the zinc-based series, meaning it is composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, weighing about 2.5 grams. Though it may not carry the heavy copper weight of pre-1982 pennies, what it lacks in metal value, it makes up for in collectible potential. The crisp details of Lincoln's portrait, the clear Liberty inscription, and the sharp memorial lines on the reverse can dramatically impact the coin's grading and value. Speaking of grading, if you happen to find a 2001 Lincoln penny that looks shiny, clean, and has no scratches or wear, it might be worth sending to a professional grading service like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. A coin graded MS-67 or MS-68 red can easily sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And if you strike gold, meaning you have a rare die variety or mint error, your penny could skyrocket in value beyond imagination. Let's dive into some real market examples. In recent auctions, a 2001 D Lincoln cent with a dramatic off-center strike sold for over $2,000. Another 2001 P double die was listed for more than $5,000 in a certified holder. But the true treasures are the nearly perfect, mint-state examples with stunning red luster and zero contact marks. These have been valued and sold for amounts up to $898,956 depending on rarity and demand. That's nearly $900,000 for a 1-cent coin. Incredible, right? The coin market in 2025 has seen a massive surge in interest for Lincoln cents, especially modern ones from the 1990s and 2000s. Collectors who used to focus only on early wheat pennies are now realizing that newer memorial cents also have extraordinary value when found in pristine condition or with unique errors. Because of this, prices for coins like the 2001 Lincoln penny are climbing steadily, and experts believe this trend will continue for years to come. Another fascinating fact: some 2001 pennies were found with unusual coloring, die chips near Lincoln's face or the date, and even partial collar strikes. Each of these mint errors adds value and uniqueness to your coin. Always look carefully at your coins under a magnifying glass or coin loop. You might be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. Collectors often say that the Lincoln cent is America's coin, and they're right. It's the longest-running design in U.S. coinage history and represents over a century of American heritage. The 2001 version is part of that legacy, a modern piece of history, a bridge between the old copper-era cents and the modern shield cent introduced in 2010. Owning one in top condition means holding a piece of America's minting excellence. So, if you're new to collecting, start with the pennies in your pocket. Look for clear details in Liberty, no damage, and especially check for doubling, cracks, or off-center features. Even minor imperfections that came from the mint, not from circulation, can turn into major rewards. The 2001 Lincoln penny might just be your ticket to discovering a valuable treasure worth more than anyone could imagine. At RF Coins, we believe every coin has a story to tell and a mystery to uncover. And today, we've seen how the 2001 Lincoln penny, a coin millions of Americans have spent without a thought, could secretly be worth nearly $1 million. Keep your eyes open, collectors, because your next big find could be sitting right in your change jar. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2001 Lincoln penny, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to RF Coins, your #1 source for rare U.S. coins, hidden values, and collector secrets. Turn on the bell icon so you never miss an episode where we uncover more American treasures hiding in plain sight. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most surprising and fascinating coins in U.S. history, the Liberty 2001 Lincoln penny. You might think a 2001 penny isn't old enough to be valuable, but let me tell you, some of these small copper coins are selling for jaw-dropping prices, with certain rare varieties worth up to $898,956 in today's coin market. So grab your coin jar, check your pocket change, and let's uncover the hidden secrets behind the 2001 Lincoln penny, its history, design, errors, varieties, and current market value that has collectors across America buzzing with excitement. Let's start with the story behind this incredible coin. The Lincoln penny, officially known as the Lincoln cent, was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, symbolizing freedom, leadership, and American pride. The obverse side of the coin features the famous bust of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse design in 2001 still displayed the Lincoln Memorial, created by Frank Gasparo. That image remained on the penny from 1959 until 2008, making the 2001 issue one of the last decades of the classic memorial reverse. Now, you might ask, what makes the 2001 Lincoln penny special? Why are collectors hunting for it like treasure? The answer lies in varieties, mint errors, and condition. The 2001 penny was struck at 3 main U.S. mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark for proofs. But here's where it gets fascinating. During the minting process, thousands of these pennies came out with minting errors, double dies, and planchet mistakes that have turned an ordinary 1-cent coin into a collector's dream. One of the most valuable types of 2001 pennies is the 2001 double die obverse, where you can see doubling in the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and even in the date itself. These varieties are extremely rare and can fetch hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on condition. But the holy grail among them is the 2001 Lincoln penny with major die breaks, off-center strikes, or transitional metal errors. These are the coins that have recently sold for insane amounts, some reportedly reaching prices close to $898,956 at high-grade auctions due to their extreme rarity and flawless preservation in mint state, MS 68 or higher. Imagine finding one of these pennies sitting in your